Welcome to the weekly roundup with Alex and Dan. I'm Alex.
And I'm Dan.
Hiya, Dan. So I wanted to talk to you about my weekly roundup. And this is the latest Spider-Man news. So earlier this week, word on the Marvel Cinematic Universe is that there's going to be a new villain in town. A golden oldie, and he hasn't been seen before on the screen.
Oh.
Any ideas who it is?
I believe it's Mysterio.
It is Mysterio, yeah. So Mysterio is an interesting one. He's a character that is predominantly tongue-in-cheek. Do you know too much about the background of this one?
Only a tiny bit.
I only know this from the 80s and 90s cartoon, but essentially he's a very disgruntled special effects technician that ends up losing his job, I believe as a result of a Spider-Man incident. Dons a suit and actually uses his technical powers to rob banks and cause mischief. Which sounds quite pants actually if you describe it that way, but actually he's more than quite the nemesis for our friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man.
Should be interesting, especially now coming into, I suppose, the modern films.
Well, it is, and this is what I want to talk to you about actually. So with all of the Marvel films, right, they always have a take on the character, but they always make it modern.
Yes.
And they bring it into the real world. So the days are gone, I guess, in terms of the very kind of kitsch, almost literal spandex type style heroes. And actually what they do is they try and bring in the modern twist. And I just wonder how they're going to possibly do that with a man who's got a fishbowl for a head.
And also...
And a lime green outfit.
Green lycra.
Yeah. Which, let's face it, it's not going to be too comfortable. So... I mean, have you got any thoughts about how they might be able to make that more, I guess, relevant to today's audience?
I mean, if you sort of look at even Captain America's costume now, it's sort of quite padded out, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose the only sort of lycra wearing superhero we see now is Spider-Man, but it sort of hugs him and then he's sort of quite mobile.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess in addition to that, I guess they'll probably dump the fishbowl.
It's a potential...
Because it looks like I'm not sure if anyone's seen this, but it looks like a space helmet.
Yes.
Let's take the Vulture from the last Spider-Man film. So, of course, we're talking about not the Sam Raimi ones.
Yeah.
We're talking about the Tom Holland film, which in the first one, the Vulture, played by Michael Crichton, he wasn't an old man, Toombs, with... with these feathery wings, he had this mechanical outfit because, of course, it was put together by the incident in the first Avengers film, the tech from the aliens.
Yeah.
So I wonder whether they're going to have some kind of similar real world, inverted commas, spin on Mysterio. I guess we'll wait and see. But in terms of Mysterio's powers, he tends to be able to create almost realistic. Holographic scenes, and I reckon he'll rival some of the big set scenes from the previous MCU films.
Yes, absolutely.
And it'd be quite cool to see the devastation of New York, but actually it doesn't happen because it's all holographic and it's down to Peter Parker's Spidey sense to see through it. A fascinating one. The lead actor apparently who's in the frame for this. Now this I found really interesting.
I know who this is, I've also got a fact. It's Jake. Is it Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal. I think. Gyllenhaal. If you're listening, Jake, apologies. Please let us know. Contact us by the usual methods. But I think I'm going to go with Gyllenhaal. You can go for Gyllenhaal if
Tomato, potato.
Perhaps.
Interesting fact on this gentleman later.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go over it now.
Yeah,
he was considered. Now I'm going back to the Sam Raimi films.
Yeah.
Now, Tobey Maguire got injured filming Seabiscuit in 2003, so we're sort of talking between the first Spider-Man and the second Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Now, Jake was actually considered as a replacement for Tobey Maguire if he wasn't able to carry on.
Wow, imagine that.
So he is slightly tied in with this Spider-Man world.
He's got history. Well, I think it's an interesting one. So he has he's always played a mix of different characters, good and bad and indifferent. He's a great choice, but is he the right one for the MCU and a villain? Not sure.
Well, they don't generally get it wrong, do they?
No, I mean they do their homework, and I'm sure Kevin Feige has certainly chosen the right man. So again, this is where I'm not clear on how they're going to take the character and the spin they'll have on it, but I'm sure whatever Jake ends up doing is going to be absolutely spot on.
Makes you wonder as well, because at the end of Homecoming, you've got the Vulture and essentially the Scorpion.
Yeah.
Not quite the Scorpion yet, but
not as we know it.
Not as we know it, but are they teasing a Sinister Six?
Which is one of my all-time comic favourites. And that's the other thing, I guess. They've also confirmed that Michael Crichton is going to return for Spider-Man 2 as the Vulture. Now, as we saw at the end of that film, he was put away. Was it an end credits scene? I think it was.
Yes, it was.
And he's walking down the prison aisle, and he comes across the Scorpion, of course, with the Scorpion tattoo on his neck. And he obviously at that point knows the identity of Peter Parker.
Yes.
Because at the end of Homecoming, sorry, spoilers, guys. He obviously works out who it is, but Peter ends up saving his life. So how that comes through in the next film, I think will be really fascinating. This almost goes back to Spider-Man 3 with Tobey Maguire, and how his identity is known pretty much by everyone by the end of the film. It's the worst kept secret. So how that then works out with, and hopefully it's not Spider-Man 3, but how you work with Michael Crichton as Vulture, and then Gyllenhaal as Mysterio, and one of them knows your identity, I think would be, hopefully do it right this time.
Yes. Another random fact about the Vulture. Now, out of all the Spidey films, so we're talking Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, the Vulture is the only villain that has been saved. Every other villain has died.
Oh.
Yeah, that fact blew my mind, thinking back to it.
Yeah.
Did the lizard die in Amazing Spider-Man?
I
can't quite remember.
I don't recall. Interesting though.
I mean,
but I wasn't part of the. Are we talking about all superhero?
All the Spider-Man films, yeah. So we're going through all of them.
I think we're going to have to do some research on that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I mean, guys, if you have any ideas, we are on social media now, so you can either tweet us or hit us up on Instagram or Facebook.
Yep, all our details are in the description of this podcast. We'll be really interested to get your views and opinions or recommendations for upcoming podcasts. But yeah, that's my choice of my weekly roundup. It just so happens to be an MCU choice, but how about you?
Well, this will lead quite nicely into what we're going to go into next, which will be the next Black Panther film.
Oh, okay.
Which they've already started teasing villains for. So
yeah, there was something in the news about this, wasn't it, that I saw about a potential new villain. So similar to Spidey, they've teased a new joiner to the Black Panther family.
Yes. I mean, they're teasing. Who was it? Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. So he was in the first one, wasn't he? He was Killmonger, who was competing for the throne of Wakanda.
Yes.
Now, if you haven't seen the film, we are going to do a review because it's coming out soon on DVD. So we're not going to talk anymore about necessarily the plot. But if you haven't seen it, please do see it when it comes out on DVD. But yes, he was the main villain in that particular film, and he's tasked to return for Black Panther 2, isn't he?
Yes. In what capacity, we don't know.
No.
I mean, how do you bring back a dead guy? But then you go, well, comics.
Whoops. Spoilers, guys.
There was someone else as well. I can't quite remember the actor's name.
So, interesting enough, he's recently been on the red carpet for Han Solo, a Star Wars story.
Oh, I should know this.
Donald Glover. So he's going to be apparently the main villain of this film. Now, quite who he's going to be playing and how he all kind of fits in, because I should probably also... This is full of spoilers. I should say, where are we end of Black Panther, but also Infinity War?
Black Panther was set immediately after Civil War, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where did we end?
So Black Panther, we see T'Challa's still got his throne, and Killmonger has unfortunately snuffed it. But everything is intact. There's no question of his loyalty to his people. So from that perspective, everything's all been buttoned down. I guess from Infinity War perspective, hold that thought, because if you haven't seen Infinity War or you haven't heard our previous podcast, please do give it a listen. But the end of Infinity War, of course, the Black Panther...
He was dust.
He's dust.
He was dust,
So,
along with several others.
Well, yeah, half the cast. So it begs the question, is this another prequel, like the likes of Ant-Man, which will be released in the next couple of months, or whether actually it takes place after? Who knows? But my money's probably after, because Infinity War Part 2, whatever it ends up being called, will obviously land a good year and a half before Black Panther 2, I assume.
I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think Black Panther could now start to lead the way post Avengers 4, and I don't see why it can't.
Well, it's made so much bloody money. I don't see how Marvel, the MCU, and Kevin Feige would not see it as one of the shining stars of the lineup. What's left of it at the moment, anyway. Yeah, I think good things can come out of it. Good hype, well deserved. Fantastic casting, fantastic storyline. Score was brilliant. I'm really looking forward to the second one.
Me too.
So yeah, lots to look forward to. So yeah, that's our weekly roundup for this week. Tweet us, email us, send us your comments on Facebook. In the description, it can be all how you can contact us. But for this week, I've been Alex.
And I've been Dan.
And we'll see you next time.